We will make turkey rollatini. I know you made veal rollatini, pork rollatini, chicken rollatini, but how about turkey rollatini? I think turkey meat is economical and it's rather light and flavorful as well. So you get a nice turkey breast, and all the silver skin makes it a little tough. So just underneath with a boning knife, and you kind of clean that up. And let's see, there's a little bit here. Because this silver skin has a tendency, once you put it in the hot oil, it's like the skin that kind of cringes. And then it makes the whole piece of meat a little tougher. So, you know, try to get it. Okay. So we're gonna make a rollatini. So you make like a little scallopini, maybe a little bigger, and then we'll roll it and stuff it. So let's cut it. You cut meat against the grain a little bit. You don't go exactly with the grain. The grain is going this way here, so I don't want to go this way. And when you cut your scallopini, you put your hands on the meat, and you will sense how your knife goes underneath, just like that. You will be able to sense even the thickness of the scallopini that you're cutting. Okay. I made some just for the sake of time, but I want to really show you the whole process. So you have the scallopini, they're a little dense. I want to open them up a little bit, and we'll pound them lightly. If you put plastic paper over it like this, it gives the meat protection so you don't shred it, and you can pound it. So I'm doing it with a round. You have the dentals. The dentals will go through everything. It's just too tender. And when you pound, sort of do it kind of away from the center so it opens up. Okay. We're going to fill them and then roll them. And what we're going to fill them with is a little grated cheese, a little parsley, and a little bit of prosciutto. And ultimately, sew them up with a toothpick. Just a little bit of salt. Keep in mind, we will put the prosciutto in there, so you don't want too much of salt. And also prosciutto, very thin. One slice like that will do for both. Prosciutto has a lot of flavor, and it, especially when it's wrapped like this in, it will retain most of the flavors. A little bit of cheese, a little bit of parsley, and you just roll it. And there. You secure it with a toothpick, just on one side, just like across, and here we are. Let's do this. I'm looking for the flat end, so when I close, there's a nice flap in closing it. And in cooking, there's just a lot of common sense. And if you feel, you know, maybe I should be doing that, the chances are you should be doing that. So we will just lightly flour them, brown them here, then we'll take them out and I'll make the sauce out of it. So a little bit of oil. In the same pan that we're going to make the sauce, of course you don't want, the one thing you don't want the oil to burn on you because you're going to be using it. So lightly flour it, not too much. You know, you can prepare the rollatini in advance, but flour them the last minute, because what will happen is that the flour will take the moisture from the meat and it'll become like a pastella, a paste. And you don't want that. You just want lightly floured, and you want that nice and browned. And this is one of those meat sauces that don't take a long time to cook, because turkey meat doesn't need to cook all that long. And all you need to do is just caramelize a little bit, give it that crusty flavor to the meat with a little bit of flour. We're going to cook it in the sauce, the meat, so don't worry about cooking it thoroughly. So you can see, got some nice color here. And we'll continue right in here. Let's start with a little bit of chopped, actually sliced, a little bit of sliced garlic. When the garlic begins to get golden, chopped onion. Season this with a little bit of salt, a little peperoncino. I like it nice and spicy. I'm going to put just a little bit of more oil. The onions need a little bit of oil. Okay, when the onion is nice and wilted, we'll slide the turkey rollatini right back in. Raise the temperature at high and put some wine and let the pan deglaze. What you really want from wine is you want the flavor, you want the acidity. The alcohol, you want it to dissipate, and actually that's why before I add any other liquid, I'm letting the alcohol dissipate. And now I will put in the tomato, the crushed tomatoes. So salt, you know, you always say, oh, you put so much salt. No, I put the right amount, but in intervals, in kind of crucial intervals. So what I suggest to you is that if you have a recipe, you look at my recipe, you take, if I say a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of salt, pull it out, put it on the side, and from there, you go like I do throughout the cooking process. And then you'll see that you will have always used the measured amount of salt, but you will have used it at the crucial moments to salt the inside of the meat, to salt the onions to get the water out quicker, and then of course in the sauce itself. Okay, I think this has begun to boil. I'm gonna put it to a medium heat, cover it, and let it perk away while I clean up my pasta. Well, it's pasta time, so let's make some pasta. It's fun time. You know, I love making pasta. It's easy. All of you tell me, oh my God, fresh pasta. It is so easy. So let me show you. Food processor. This is white flour, just plain flour, a little bit of water, 2 whole eggs, a little bit of oil, and you give it a little whisking. And you just add the mixture to the flour. What you want is the dough to accumulate around the bowl. So if it's not doing that, if it's still crumbly, it needs a little bit of liquid. I'm looking at it. It does a little bit of water. Let's see where that takes us. And I think maybe just a little bit of flour to sort of collect. But when you see it collecting around the end of the bowl, that means that it is at the right texture. Okay, we can stop now. Knead it a little bit, you see, you want this softness in the dough, this kind of relaxed texture, nice, almost like silk. And the dough has been worked well in the machine. A little bit of kneading, a little bit of flour. You wrap it in plastic paper. And you let it rest for about half an hour before you begin to actually roll it and shape it. The dough has rested, so let's roll it and cut it. cut it in 4 pieces, and you work 1/4 at the time. So what you want to do is you want to roll it the width of this, and you want to get progressively thinner so that the pasta is nice and light. And we're going to make pappardelle. Pappardelle, that wide ribbon-like pasta, which is really delizioso, delicious, and it really absorbs the sauce. Started at the widest. Okay. And when you roll it, it's like kneading it. So I do it twice at the same width. And as you notice, I fold it, and then I go sideways. I go across. Okay? A little tighter. See, I want it to be even here. A little bit of flour in each. Fold it in half. Cut it in half. Cut it in half again. In quarters. So we have the pappardelle. All right. Loosen them up, and here we are. And when you're finished doing all 4 of them, you should have about, so here we are with the pappardelle, and they keep rather well, even if they dry up a little bit. It's perfectly fine, because when you reintroduce them in the water, they regain their liveliness again. So I'll clean up, let this dry, take care of the sauce, and put on the water for the pappardelle. We're ready to cook the pasta. You know, it's all in the preparation. And now it's the culmination of it all. A nice big pot of boiling water. You know, when you cook fresh pasta, you need at least 1 quart more water than you do when you cook dry pasta, because there's a lot of flour. So I always say salt the pasta water before cooking the pasta, because otherwise the pasta is always flat. Boiling, let's just collect, throw the pappardelle right in, sort of loosen them up a little bit, make sure they're not sticking together. All right, so let's give it a quick mix. And while that's cooking, I'm gonna get the sauce ready. A little bit of the sauce itself. Okay. And we'll bring this to a boil. The pasta is cooking. You know, some of my fondest memories as a child was always running around this table where there was dough and there was flour, and getting my little hands into this dough. I just loved it, whether it was gnocchi or pasta dough. I had a little stool. Because I was too small, I would get on the stool and I would do my thing. And so it wasn't a solitary affair making pasta. I recall my aunt, my great aunt, sort of, you know, the Sunday meal, the whole courtyard kind of joined in, and all the women helped to make certainly the pasta for that meal. So the sauce is bubbling away. Let's just bring the pasta to a boil. And you know, I always tell you, salted water, simple as that. No oil in it, do not rinse your pasta. I like to fish it out. And fresh pasta, all you need, especially the pappardelle, you need 1 boil, 1 roll. And we will finish it in the sauce. So the pasta has that 1 boil. Let's throw it right in let's drain it right in the sauce. Okay, it's like fishing here. Set, put it right back. And finish cooking it in the sauce itself. So fresh pasta really takes in the sauce if you give it a chance. It's very porous. It's more porous than the dry pasta. And it really is delizioso. So now I think the pasta has absorbed the sauce. It's flowing. I'm gonna shut off the heat and I'm gonna put in the cheese. You know, I always add the cheese off the fire, just like that, because I want to really get the maximum of the flavor of the cheese. I don't want to cook anything out. So here we are. I'm going to throw in the basil at this point right here, and it's time for me to taste. Okay, so we have, I want to taste the rollatini also. And you know, I make sure you take out the toothpick. Let me cut it. Just like that. And like that. And a little bit of the salsa, of the sauce. I have a little bit here, a little bit here. Just let me drizzle a little bit. It's glistening. It's like a jewel. I don't know what to tell you, but it looks like shining gold. Do I want a little more cheese? Maybe. Just like that. So I think that, you know, certainly this is a nice portion. Do you want to do this for everybody? I think if you have an intimate family, I think you can portion each one. But otherwise, you can make a big platter for family style and let them sort of fend for themselves. Just have to be careful that they're fair because they're going to go for it. So let me taste. And, you know, I love the shape of pappardelle, the white shape, especially for this kind of sort of really savory sauces. It is just mops up all of the sauce. Wow. Now let me taste a little bit of the meat of the turkey. It is fantastico. Fantastico, light, but at the same time it has such a spread of flavors, of aromas, of complexity. It is just delicious. And I'm gonna get right back into it, but I wanna invite you first. So tutti a tavola a mangiare, come, 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 come. Otherwise I'm gonna eat it all up.